So let's role play.
Okay.
So James, we're on a date.
Okay.
How does the date start?
I would probably say something like, yeah, how was your day? Or like,
Good.
tell me one thing. Like, I just need one thing.
Would you ask me what I do at all on the date?
Of course.
This bachelor is preparing for a blind date a Matchmaker has set up for him.
So wait, this is your answer when women ask what are your passions?
That's what I'm passionate about, and I say tongue sweepers.
Yeah, but I know you're passionate about other things, James.
I am, and I probably will talk
So
about
why
missionary
pick?
work or like.
Okay, so you would weave that in?
I would, yeah, but I start with tongue sweepers. It's a light.
So depending on her personality, she's gonna be like, this guy's whacked. Or she's gonna laugh her head off.
He wants this to be his last first date because what he really desires is a wife.
What is it like to be single in Utah? I think in general being single is fine. But I think that being LDS, 34 years old and single is a whole nother game.
People have this sense that there's so many options that they're almost paralyzed to make a decision. And so then they end up not choosing any of them. And I think that's one thing that keeps people single.
This is the place with the highest percentage of married people in the nation, 56%.
Going to the chapel and we're gonna get married.
It's also the Mecca for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is more commonly known as the Mormon Church. And I'm here in zip code 84094, watching matchmaker Amy Seal do her best to connect singles so she can faithfully increase that statistic.
No one gets through dating without hilarious stories. And I try to get my clients to laugh at these stories because at the time they're not as funny until you're telling them to someone else.
So how did you get into matchmaking?
I was single after a divorce, and I was working as an executive recruiter, and I didn't feel totally fulfilled in what I was doing, and thought, what I'm doing is really the same thing. It's just I would be a recruiter for love.
Amy bills herself as the Latter-day Matchmaker, the only one of her kind, she says. The Latter-day Saints Church does not officially endorse Amy's business.
Tell me where you're at with your faith and kind of the gospel in general.
It's very important to me, and that's not something I would probably stray on when it comes to someone I'm dating, because I want us to have the same views as we raise our children or in whatever we do.
Amy's religious affiliation is very important. Utah is a state where 55% of the faith community is part of the Church of Latter-day Saints. The Latter-day Saints emphasize modern conservative family values. Amy's matchmaking intimately intertwines with her beliefs.
And I felt led to help other people. And what better way to help them than to help create an eternal family by helping them find love and have children.
The search for a spouse and starting a family are important parts of the faith. Latter-day Saints believe the decision has implications for all eternity.
Welcome to the inevitable fate of Miss Jackson.
I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Whoa, whoa. I thought in my head.
James Curran is one of the many Latter-day singles searching for an eternal companion. Today, he's sharing with me an entire album he wrote detailing his heartbreak over a woman he briefly dated.
How do you feel?
I don't know, a lot of emotions from creating that came back. But, yeah.
What emotions?
Just like how much I like somebody and like they didn't like me back, and it was like very interesting because I genuinely felt like God was involved in that.
James is a software entrepreneur who sold his previous 2 startups and years ago had a 3-month marriage with a church member.
When you eventually find the woman that you hope to marry, do you think she'll also serve as a muse for your music?
I've never been able to write about love like that, only about heartbreak.
He's a man with two musical alter egos. Jimmy Goldtree made the music you just heard.
Every Jimmy Goldtree song is about a girl that passed on me, basically.
And then there's James the Mormon,
Baby, tell me what you're thinking, I'ma give it
a
motivation.
persona with a following in the Latter-day Saints community.
Yeah.
How do you feel about James the Mormon now?
I completely regret doing it. I wish I just was James and made music I liked and then was like, yeah, I happen to be Mormon.
Tell me how to do it and I do. Feeling my ambition like I'm filling up a pool.
It'd be this bridge to the rest of the world of like, hey, like I'm Black and I'm showcasing all these people of color in my videos and I rap and I'm a Mormon, so maybe I could break down some of these like barriers. But what it turned into was just entertainment for the most zealot versions of Mormons. Like they were like, that's our guy. So they think James the Mormon is this like conservative. I'm this other person who also is liberal and a feminist and loves to have gay friends and support them and goes to the gay bar and goes to bars. Doesn't drink, but like, you know, like I just love to associate with people who aren't of our faith.
James's pro-Black Lives Matter and gay ally stances are vastly different than the majority of his church. Latter-day Saints members are among the U.S.'s most conservative groups. 2/3 of them oppose gay marriage.
Was it immediately obvious to you the disconnect between you and the audience?
No.
How did you figure that out?
It was George Floyd that really made it clear for me, which is recent, right? It made it more clear because they didn't pick a side. People saw George Floyd be murdered and still couldn't get behind Black Lives Matter. And the amount of quietness from people who are James the Mormon fans is what it made. I was like, oh.
And so this is how James Curran says James the Mormon has thwarted his search for a lifetime love match.
I genuinely think every member of the church should support Black Lives Matter and any marginalized group. And because there's scripture, there's like the core, one of the core things of our church is that we're gonna mourn with those that mourn and comfort those that stand in need of comfort.
And eventually it came to a point where I had to admit to myself that I'd fallen in love with him. Sorry.
Amy is showing comfort to a potential match by listening. Knowing how she got here, you can see why she wants to comfort those looking for love. Amy was still doing matchmaking part-time when doctors found a malignant tumor in her breast.
Matchmaking was a great distraction. I literally was setting people up as I was being wheeled into surgery.
Surviving cancer is what finally pushed her to leap full-time into what she believed was her divine calling. And it also put her on the road to love.
If Amy hadn't taken the risks or, come up with this idea to become a matchmaker, I don't think we would be together today. So I'm really glad that she took that leap of faith.
It's less than 6 months between when you meet and when you get married.
Yeah,
How typical is that for LDS?
it's really common.
I know part of the tenets of your faith include no sex before marriage. Mm-hmm. How do you think that plays into people in the LDS community getting married younger?
Yeah, I think most people try to keep that standard, and we did. But I do think it definitely plays into them marrying more quickly because they are saving that for marriage, but they don't want to wait forever.
Utah has the youngest newlyweds in the nation. Today, Amy and Derek share 3 small children together, in addition to his 6 from a previous marriage. This is the kind of life Amy hopes to help her clients get. But there's a process. One I got to watch Amy initiate virtually with James more than a month before I landed in Salt Lake City.
So I've prepared 30 women for you to consider for a first date.
James, I feel like I look more excited than you.
Wow. Okay. Let me.
All Amy's matches begin this way. She does this $500 consultation, which includes a questionnaire, to decide if a man is fit for her services. And though Amy's services cost thousands, she's offering James the process free of charge.
I'm not here to judge you on who you're saying yes or no to.
The price point of matchmaking makes it inaccessible to many. Amy requires a 2-month commitment at the cost of $10,000.
She's the girl next door. This isn't the traditional girl that all the guys are after, you know what I mean? Type of thing.
I'm just telling you that a lot of these girls who look like the girl next door are what most men want. And they all think that they're going for this enigma of nature that they've discovered and no one else has.
I would go on a date with her for sure. No, there's no attraction. I know this girl.
What? Oh, wow, okay. I'm guessing that's an over. How many people did you end up knowing out of the 30 people?
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
You knew a third of the people.
Yeah, they don't call it Small Lake City for nothing.
James and I are playing Uno as we await part 1 of the makeover process.
I was trying to be polite, but you choose violence.
I can't wait to be here.
Okay, Uno out. You said you were going to beat me.
James will not get the opportunity for a rematch.
Hi.
Hello, James. It's so good to see you. Hi, I'm Alicia. Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you as well. Come on in. I do want to prepare you that I am a minimalist, so I don't have very many things.
Love it. I think it's important to consider what the women you're targeting might be looking for. And so if it's a matter of updating your look in still a way that's comfortable for you, and that could help you have more success with dating.
Yeah.
Is there a favorite piece in here?
It's probably this t-shirt.
Princess Diana?
And this, oh wait, yeah. These overalls.
I just want them to see this.
Wow.
She's wowing at the back, which you all did not see. Would you advise him to wear this on a date?
Not on a first date.
Okay.
I think it's
After you've been married for 15 years? That's kind of the vibe you're giving.
James, Amy, Alicia, and I visit 3 stores to implement the wardrobe updates one weekend afternoon. It's only a few hours before James's first date, one of 5 he's scheduled to go on in this process.
How often do race and ethnicity come up in your clients when they're talking?
Well, I think that's definitely something that people have preferences in. I mean, they have preferences for height and age and ethnicity and all those things. Since a lot of my clients are in Utah, although I do serve clients everywhere, it's definitely predominantly white. So I tend to have more Caucasian clients, but even when I have people of color, often they are asking me to set them up with Caucasian. So I find that kind of interesting.
How important is it for you to date or marry a black woman?
Not important at all. I'm already looking for someone so specific as a human being, outside of race. I think for me to also put she should be black is just unrealistic in my situation. I would love if she was black, that'd be great, but there's also not many black people who are here.
Black residents account for only 1.5% of Utah's population. Of the U.S. Latter-day Saints, 84% of women in the church are white and 1% is black.
I would happily marry a black woman, date a black woman. I'm just not going to prioritize that over just meeting someone that I want to marry.
Though black people were always allowed to be a part of the Latter-day Saints, for nearly a century, The institution banned them from important rituals. In 1978, the church finally allowed Black people to get married in the temple, serve in lay priesthood, and go on missions. The church has worked to improve race relations, but never formally apologized.
What is it like to be a Black man in this mostly white church?
I think a lot of microaggressions, but mostly it's like just feeling kind of like a novelty. It's conflicting because there's, some racist history, and I equate the history of the church as far as Blacks go with the history of the United States. It began in the 1800s when everybody was racist. I mean, what is the expectation here? That just because they were religious, they were gonna not be racist. I think I understand why they were racist. Everybody was racist, but I compartmentalize those racist things with my direct communication with God, and in my experience, God has told me that this is the restored church of Jesus Christ.
James believes maybe the church should talk more about its past, a past he doesn't believe defines the current congregations.
I don't think the normal member of the church is racist at all. If anything, there's maybe some ignorance, but I don't think they have malicious intentions. I don't think that they're homophobic.
While I'm in town, James is matched with 3 white women, and I caught a glimpse of his virtual date.
Hypothetically, let's just say, obviously, like, we get married, right? We're watching the BYU U of U game. I think that would add an element of excitement. You know what I mean? That I'm rooting for this. You know what I mean? There's some banter there. We get to talk crap about each other's teams. It's all, it can all be within love. Wow, this is like deeper than just football. Like, what's going on?
Did somebody hurt you? Did Cosmo hurt you?
This wasn't James's only date tonight. He went on one he set up himself an hour after this virtual date. It's Sunday morning, and after a full weekend of trying to make a love connection, both Amy and James are going to church.
A lot of people will use the swipe feature, and they'll just like, and they'll just see who matches with them, and then they kind of figure it out from there.
Amy's and James's Sunday routines couldn't be more different. Perhaps their approach to love is very different too. But what Amy and James do share is a faith, one that guides their romantic relationships in specific ways. It's only been a few days since James's 3rd date, when he, Amy, and I regrouped virtually for a debrief.
All the feedback I'm going to give you is information I tried to give you before the date, and you pushed back on it. Like, what these women have told me is exactly what I thought they were going to say based on how you describe how you date.
Okay, that's fair.
Before the dates, Amy coached James on his elusiveness around his job and the practice of asking women questions, but not voluntarily revealing insights about himself.
So James, be straight with me. Are you successful in your job?
In my job?
In your work?
I feel like there's times of success.
Because you skirt around the issue, and so it makes me wonder if you're trying to hide it.
A week ago, I realized that I actually just crossed $1 million of net worth. So I'm very comfortable. I'm very financially stable. Why did you need to know if I'm financially stable?
Because they can't tell. The way that you talk, the way you are so set on avoiding the subject, that's what people do when they don't have money.
Or when they have money.
Well, I work with people who have money. All of my clients have money. They pay me $5,000 a month. So you can't tell me that's true. All I'm asking you to do is just share with her a little bit about who you are, because otherwise it seems elusive.
On at least one date, James brought up feminism, which Amy previously cautioned.
People define feminism in different ways, and you said, wait, I have a question. So it was sort of like a dramatic, like, let's ask this question, almost like stop. And then you ask the question, and she kind of felt like she didn't answer it right. And so I guess that's why he's not really acting that interested.
She's associating the non-interest to feminism, and that's not the case.
Yeah.
I was just not interested because I wasn't attracted to her. So
Sure, and that's totally fine. I'm just telling you, what if you were attracted?
Are you feeling defensive right now, James?
I'm feeling like, yes.
Why?
Because I feel defensive because in my mind, I'm saying to myself, I feel like there's another reason. From minute 2, I was like, this is not going to turn into something, unfortunately, because I'm not physically attracted to this girl.
I think you're too focused on what you don't want, and so then that's always sort of in the way. But if you're focused on what you do want, everything else can relate back to that.
Do you want to wrap over what we have here on the second half of this?
No, I think I want to get it.
With a tat above her wrist, with a kid back at home, but she still give me a kiss. Third day, I want you to stay. I know you be acting, but I ain't trying to play.
Been thinking about you, baby, since the day you left. Like I gotta talk to you, get it off my chest. That the way I feel about you put the pain to rest. Let me show you true colors, you could paint the rest. So I text her, baby, do you wanna see me? She said, I've been thinking about you, I said retweet. Name the place. My soul lighting up like a fuse. Always down to share, never that song.